Hey, Texas Study students. This is Coach Science, welcoming you back to another one of our video lessons. Today's video lesson is Chapter 11.3 and Texas Annexation to the United States. Now, Sam Houston once again becomes president after Mirabeau Lamar's horrible presidency in the Texas Republic, right? As we talked about it in the previous video lesson, we learned how bad and how destructive Mirabeau Lamar was towards the presidency of Texas. Now, in 1841, Sam Houston was elected president for the second time. Now, if you remember, when he was the first president for 2 years, and then every president after that would get a 3-year term. So now his second term would be a total of 3 years. Now, what he tried to do is really mop up and clean up what Mirabeau Lamar had left for him, which was really all that bad stuff that he had done. He had gotten him $6 million into debt and really brought the tensions closer and more bigger with Mexico. So what he tried to do is he worked to prevent war with Mexico once again. He tried to spend as little money as possible after all that Mirabeau Lamar had done. And once again, he tried to join with the U.S. and bring together. Now, with Sam Houston becoming once again his second term of presidency, on September 11th of 1842, Mexico once again invaded San Antonio with 1,400 soldiers. Now, if you remember from the previous video lesson in chapter 11.1, Mexico did not accept the Treaty of Velasco's, that they had made because of Santa Anna. So that's why they were upset and they decided to once again invade San Antonio. And with that, they invaded 1,400 soldiers. Now, once they were there, they got in there and they had to do what they did. What they did was really attack. Once Texas militia was sent to there to help with this invasion, they retreated back to Mexico. But when they retreated back to Mexico, they took 67 hostages with them. That means when they got to San Antonio, they fought, right? And on their way out, when they saw that the Texas militia was coming back, they captured 67 Texan soldiers and they took them back with them to Mexico. Now, the way that Sam Houston reacted to this is when the men were sent after that Mexico had started retreating, Sam Houston sent 300 of his militiamen under General Somerville to go after them. But once they got to the Rio Grande River, as you can see here, they stopped and they didn't go any further. Now, by the time Somerville had gotten to the river, the Mexicans had already crossed over to the Mexican side, right? So Somerville thought that his orders were only to try to catch them at the Rio Grande, right? So that's why he did not pursue the Mexicans, right? Since the militiamen were upset at Somerville that he did not pursue them into Mexico, all the guys wanted to go after their buddies and their friends and their fellow war mates. So they didn't, that they were upset that they didn't go into Mexico. Now, because they were upset that Somerville did not want to pursue the Mexicans, what they did was that they just chose a new leader. They elected a man by the name of William Fisher as their new leader to lead them into Mexico after the 67 that had been captured. Now, what Fisher had done was lead the militia across the Rio Grande on December 23rd of 1842. And you can see here's the Ciudad Mier right there. It's still here to this day. And this was known as the Mier Expedition. Now, what Fisher and his men did was they forced the people of Mier to give them supplies and kind of house them, take care of them, give them food while they were there, and headed deeper into Mexico City to get the people that they were captured, right? That the 67 that were captured in San Antonio. But, however, when that happens, they were captured in the Ciudad of Mier by the Mexican army, and they themselves were marched down to Mexico City. So now they had 67 and the men Fisher had all together. Now, after that, they had begun their march down to Mexico City. But an escape attempt happened. A lot of guys were able to escape from this. But upon the escape, 167 of them were recaptured and taken down to Mexico City, as we can see here. Now, because Fisher and his men did not listen to what Sam Houston said, and only to stop at the Rio Grande. This is what happens when you don't listen carefully to instructions. You got to make sure that you always listen to your leaders and follow through with the instructions that are given to you guys. All right? Those are some of the major keys to success in life. On their march down to Mexico City, they stopped in the city of Saltillo. If you remember Saltillo, this is where, Stephen F. Austin was arrested. Saltillo, there you go. Back when he was arrested for treason, right? Now, Santa Anna wanted all 176 of the captured murdered, right? But because of intelligence and foreign trade and foreign alliances that he had with the United States and with European, they advised him to not kill everybody, to be able just to, keep them honest and keep a relationship with them, right? So what Santa Anna did, is that he ordered that 1 out of every 10 prisoner be killed and the others be imprisoned for life. Now let me backtrack a little bit real quick. You're probably asking, Coach, what is Santa Anna doing back in the picture? Yes, Santa Anna himself is back in the picture. After the Treaty of Velasco, we sent him back down to Mexico, right? Texas sent him back down to Mexico. And what does he do? He just becomes the president right again. He comes right into power. He doesn't, skip a beat. He doesn't skip a step. He's right, the Mexican leader right again. So what the Mexicans in Saltillo devised is, what they do is they had the Texans choose beans from a mug, right? So what they did was, hey, if you chose a black bean, that meant death. If you chose a white bean, that meant you were going to be imprisoned for life. So, I don't know which one was really the best. Hey, I die now, or hey, I could die in prison. Something has got to give. Both of them are not really that good. Unfortunately, there was going to be 17 total that were going to get the black bean. 1 out of every 10, 10 out of 170, that's 10 of them. 10 out of 170, 17 weren't going to make it, guys. Now, for the 17 souls that were going to be executed, they were going to be executed right then and there. The rest would be marched down to Mexico City to meet their fate for the rest of their lives in prison. But guess what ends up happening, guys? The others that survived and got the white beans were later released from prison in 1844. Now, in April of 1844, Sam Houston once again pushes for a second treaty of annexation to the United States. However, the United States Senate rejected it since it was 1 vote short of the required 2/3 majority vote. Yep, even though it was 1 vote short, they weren't going to give it to him, guys. They weren't going to be that lenient with it. Those are the rules. Now, although it was a bad thing because they missed it by 1 vote, it also turned out to be a very good thing. Now, the first time that they had tried for annexation, they had been completely shut out. 0 votes. Nobody wanted them in the United States. Now, the second time around, they were only 1 vote short of getting into the United States. So this is a major success, it's almost like a win. Like, unfortunately, they didn't get in, but hey, to be at 0 to 1 vote short, this is a great step for Texas joining the U.S. Now, in the year 1844 also meant the end of Sam Houston's presidency of Texas. Now, in 1844, a man by the name of Anson Jones, as you can see in this picture here, was elected the 4th and the last president of the Republic of Texas. And if you can put your clues together, the last president of the Republic of Texas kind of gives you an idea of what's coming up ahead for the Republic of Texas. Now, just like President Sam Houston before him, President Anson Jones pushed hard for the annexation of Texas into the United States. And with that hard push, finally, on December 29th of 1845, the U.S. Congress and Senate both agreed to accept Texas as the 28th state in the United States. So no longer can Texas be called the Republic of Texas or even be recognized as a country. It is now part of the United States as the 28th state. This concludes our video lesson on chapter 11.3 and Texas annexation to the United States. This is Coach Signs signing out.